Welcome to Jake and Trev Review Everything Live.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Trev. And if you're wondering who this goon in the middle here is, this is actually Justin. Justin is our West Coast executive producer of Peanut Butter Disaster. He got in on the ground.
He don't do nothing.
He doesn't do nothing. No. He got in on the ground floor with Jake and I and our fourth partner Ryan. And well, they've been off in adventures in other parts of the country. We've been building this sucker up. Yeah. And but he's here in town for some special occasions. I've discussed it recently. I'm getting married, and both these boys are going to be in my running crew. You
running crew?
Yeah. So say hi, Justin. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from currently I'm living in the West Coast, the great state of Oregon. If anyone from there is watching, hello. Go Ducks.
It's always a good way to get some points.
It would be the Ducks.
But yeah, I give these fellas some suggestions. Lean on them when I have to.
It's true.
Yeah, and speaking of which, a big release this past week was Grand Theft Auto 5. Everybody went out and bought a copy and made Rockstar like $800 million.
It made them all the money.
Yeah, and one of the big things for 5 was going to be the online, GTA Online. And they're having some major problems with it.
Ooh, sounds kind of troublesome, in fact.
Apparently, people are, at the very worst, people's single-player saves are being corrupted. Apparently there's some other glitches. You were telling us about a car glitch?
Yeah, well, this doesn't even have to do with anything with GTA Online, but there's a bug where you can purchase vehicles. They get stored in one of your spare garages, and then you can go to those vehicles, take them to the customization shop, turbocharge them, put bulletproof armor, trick them out basically. And if you take them on a mission, each character, as you know, there's 3 characters in GTA 5. When you start a mission, each character has a default vehicle that they go to. If you take your vehicle and start that mission with the vehicle, it'll delete your customized vehicle and you've lost it forever.
No, yeah.
It's pretty bad.
No,
those are cheap cars, right? And the money's easy to get, right?
No. The game is based around gathering as much wealth as possible, however you can.
Right.
But, you're dropping anywhere from the cheapest vehicles, I think, are $50,000. And then they go on upwards of, several $1 million. Wow. If you're buying, their Infernus. Which is a Ferrari.
That's the classic.
Or the Kennedy assassination car, or the Hitler parade vehicle, or anything,
You can even
the
get
Mars lander.
I think there's the Z-Type, which I think is basically the vehicle the Shadow drove. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's it's those kind of glitches that can really kill your experience, and
Yeah, especially in a game like Grand Theft Auto, it's such a long game where you spend I remember 4 was crazy. I think I was 60 or 70 hours into that game by the time I got to the 3rd island. And yeah, you spend a lot of time in it. If they were yeah, come online, and then I didn't, it's nope, and then I had to start over from the beginning. I don't even know if I'd want to play it for a while. I would probably go back to it, but I don't know how long it would take me to not be upset about that.
Well, since we have a moment here, I figure I did promise in the invites the return of Person of the Week.
Yeah, that's true.
So I got a Person of the Week for everyone, and as a matter of fact, it's I'll spoil it right now. It's not one person. Okay. Here's the thing. We like to stay kind of apolitical on the show, but I think that we can all agree that the Person of the Week is the United States Congress for being unable to fund the government, and now it's all shut down. So, no government. It's anarchy in the streets.
It's crazy.
Good job, fellas.
There's Molotovs. People are flipping cars over.
I'm really glad.
If you're hearing this from the future, the apex at which our society started to crumble.
That's right.
This will be in the history book. Somebody will grab this from the remnants of YouTube. All the other servers will be fried. And our stuff will still be up there.
This will be a call to action for everyone who hears it about what's going on. And thanks for putting your own short-sighted agendas in front of the good of the nation. And I'm sure. If we still have a country, if we don't descend into utter ruin and chaos, in 2014, you'll be rewarded by being reelected by a bunch of dumb idiots. So, great job, you guys. You are our persons of the week.
I feel like I saw it was a picture of the Capitol building. It was like a meme picture, and I think it summed everything up. It said, "Our government shut down because people couldn't decide how to spend the money we don't have."
And couldn't agree to pay for the money we've already spent either.
Yeah,
so
yeah. No, it's all over the place. Again, we don't like to get super political, but it is kind of a big deal.
See, personally, I could have blamed that on a smaller group of people than the entirety of Congress, but we're being apolitical. We'll blame them all for not coming together.
Well, yeah, and that's true. If they can't come to an agreement, then it's everyone's fault.
I understand both political parties have their own agenda, but when it comes down to it, I mean, really, shouldn't they be looking out for all of these thousands of federal workers that are now
hundreds of thousands of federal workers?
It's close to 800,000. It might be. I think it's around that, so it might be more. But that's a lot of people that rely on the
Well, I mean, those aren't real people. That's just a faceless bureaucracy. I mean, those aren't like people who depend on like check to check. That live that way.
They're not like you or I.
No, I know a lot of people. A lot of people have that misconception. Well, there's a lot of misconceptions about the shutdown. I mean, obviously, we were joking about the anarchy thing.
Yeah, no.
If you're seeing this right now live,
You already knew that. But
you already knew we was kidding.
And if you don't know that, then that means there's brutal anarchy breaking in the streets by you, and you shouldn't be watching the show. Well,
actually, no. Type it in. Just tell us where it is, where we should expect all the anarchy to happen.
Hi, Ma.
Trevor's mom said hi. Say hello, Justin.
Hello, Phyllis.
There you go.
My mom, one of our most loyal viewers, along with Jake's dad, and a few others. It's in the family. We're all keeping it in the family here.
Word.
So what do we got on the questions for today?
I had first of all, I'd like to say, and we've been trying to do this every Wednesday, but Happy Werewolf Wednesday.
Happy Werewolf Wednesday!
Yeah, if you don't know, Wolf Cop, it's a movie that's being made by Cinecoop. They're Canadian. Their trailer's awesome. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube.
Listen, you've heard about another cop, and he's been getting some headlines.
Yeah, we don't want to name names about what cop. May or may not have moving parts that are non-organic.
Right, but you should know that cop's not the real deal.
No.
The
that
real
should
deal.
Not be the cop you're looking. This is not the cop you're looking for.
The one you want is Wolf Cop.
You want Wolf Cop.
Yes.
Because he's the hero we deserve.
Forget that other cop. Oh, except for also Space Cop.
Space Cop. I'll give some props.
Space Cop and Wolf
Cop.
Yeah. I'll give Wolf Cop a little more props than Space
Absolutely.
Cop.
Yeah. I mean, it's I just he's Dirty Harry, but hairier.
Oh, I love it. But Justin had not seen the trailer.
No, it looks awesome. It just looks great.
It's really sweet. It's really sweet. So still looking forward to it.
Yeah,
definitely. Hashtag Werewolf Wednesday.
Eyes on you, Werewolf Cop. Wolf Cop.
But the other thing is, we wanted to follow up on Mighty Number 9.
Ah, yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
If you do not remember the discussion from previous week's broadcast, Mighty Number 9 is I don't want to call it a Kmart version because it's not really.
It's basically it is. It is
and it isn't.
Like it's
calling it a Kmart version of Mega Man implies like a lack of quality,
right?
In something, and I don't think we're going to see a lack of quality at all.
No.
And there's a reason why we're not going to see that. And what was the target that they were going for on their Kickstarter?
The Kickstarter's target was $800,000.
Oh wow, that's a pretty penny. I mean, you can make a pretty good game with that kind of money.
Yeah. They got $3.5 million. It was 3.5 or 3.8, something like that. So they're making the game. And it was funny because to find out about it, it was on Kotaku, and in the article it said somebody at Capcom is getting fired. Kaije and Ifune, they had been working on the fan. Just to recap real quick, they'd been working on the fan game of Mega Man with all the fan decided bosses. They had all these things worked out. They had character designs. They had everything, and then Capcom pulled the plug. And basically said, "Fuck you, fans! We're not doing it. Nobody wants Mega Man. Nobody wants Mega Man."
Like, who's the guy who's boldly sitting there and saying, "Oh no, nobody wants that."
Nobody wants Mega Man.
Are they crazy? Everyone loves the Blue Bomber. It's money. It's money in their pocket, and they're throwing it away on Lost Planet 3.
I don't want this money.
Who's raring for Lost Planet? I cannot picture anybody being crazy excited. Somebody's probably like, "Oh, I played the other two. They were pretty good. I'll get this third one." Nobody says that about Mega Man. People say, "Give me fucking Mega Man." And in fact, they wanted Mega Man so bad that they overfunded this project by 4 times.
Right. Mm-hmm. So hopefully we'll get a real humdinger of a game here. I'm guessing,
or maybe a bunch of games.
People wanted Mega Man.
Down for that too. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. People wanted Mega Man so bad that they didn't even care if it was Mega Man. That's how bad people want Mega Man.
Mega Man knockoff, sure. Yeah, sign me up.
So here's my money.
Shut up and take my money.
So Capcom, I don't know. Let's all give Capcom some advice. I'll start. I'll start with my advice. Stop pretending like you know what the fans want. Let the fans tell you what they want. Because they're saying it with money now. And we know how much you guys love that, so let the fans tell you what they want with their money. Just let it happen. Just shh, baby, Capcom. It doesn't have to be like this. All right. All right. What would you guys suggest to Capcom?
Well, Capcom. I mean, it's come to this, and I gotta say, trust the people who built your brand. Like the people who made the creative decisions to make the awesome games that built you into the company that you are now. Trust them. Trust them. No, quiet. Shh. Stop talking back, Capcom. Now's the time to listen, not talk. Listen. Trust your creators, because they're the ones that put you on the map, and they're the ones that are going to make your way to the future.
Firstly, pull your head out of your ass. I'm going to be straight up with you. You dropped the ball. That $3.8 million could be yours right now, but it's not, and that's all on you. And no one's really pleased with you right now. So brush yourself off. Give us a good Final Fight game. Even if it's just on PlayStation Network or Xbox Live Arcade or what have you. I would really like to see that. Give us Mega Man.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting, I just thought about this. How viable is Mega Man going to be now going forward? That, the creative force and team that's been working on Mega Man games for years has been jettisoned from Capcom, and they got another property that's probably going to be just as good, just as fun, lots of fresh stuff, innovation. I mean...
Oh, yeah, all the designs and the descriptions of what was going to happen in Mighty Number 9 were rooted in Mega Man, but they were entirely new ideas.
Right.
And that could have been Mega Man.
But no. Now it's too late. So now what are you going to do? Here's some suggestions. I'm going to start, and I'm going to ask you guys the question first, and then I'm going to answer the question I ask you. What game would you like to see a sequel or remake of from Capcom that hasn't been done yet? First answer, UN Squadron for the SNES, the classic side-scrolling jet fighting game. I'm all for it. I played the shit. My dad played the shit out of it. I played the shit out of it. Travis played the shit out of it. It was a fucking great game by Capcom from back in those days.
I got my answer. I totally.
I think it's viable. Bring it back. Bring it back, y'all.
Yeah.
I already mentioned Final Fight, and I seem to recall you releasing some piss poor, offering, and
yeah.
what we want is take some cues from Fighting Force. I mean, there was some issues with that, but it was a good jump into the 3D realm.
It took a little while.
But bring Mike Hagar back. Give us Guy and Cody, and give us maybe put in some skill upgrades. The more enemies you beat the crap out of, you can get better skills and do different moves, and the sky's the limit. You guys have the money. You got the know-how. Bring it.
I have to say, and no, I agree wholeheartedly. That's the thing. Actually, Justin and I have been, Justin's been playing Castlevania 64, and that had a bumpy transition into 3D. I think what was the Castlevania game for the PlayStation? Castlevania X.
For the one that was really popular for PlayStation.
Yeah,
Symphony of the Night.
Symphony of the Night.
Yeah,
that was a 3D one, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh. What?
Wait, what? No.
No. Side-scrolling. It was side-scrolling 2D sprites with some 3D background stuff.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, that worked really well too.
Yeah.
I think you could still do Castlevania. Devil May Cry was kind of like Castlevania.
Hold on a second.
I don't know.
Hold on a minute. Isn't Castlevania a Konami property?
Yes, it is.
Well, no. I was talking about the transition. He was talking about the transition from Final Fight 2 from 2D to 3D.
I thought you were suggesting that they're going to do...
No, that's Konami. I know the difference between Konami and
is not Capcom.
Okay,
so.
I know the difference. I'll just tell them what my Capcom game is.
What is it? You tell them.
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Oh,
yeah.
There's a title not many people I think have ever heard of.
That was on the Capcom system.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was the arcade system.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time the first time I played the Capcom system was obviously in an arcade, but that arcade was in a tent, and it was at the Jackson State Fair.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So, it was a system you put it in an arcade cabinet. It was kind of like the Neo Geo, basically, but
sweet.
They didn't have very many titles, but
I see that Miron38 points out that yes, says look at the stretch goals they met for Mighty Number 9. The game is going to be huge.
Oh, absolutely. As long as they don't Tim Schafer it.
No. Oh my God. Hey, we bit off more than we could possibly chew, and we need more money from you now.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a question here.
Let's scroll down here. Let's see. Mike Swanson says, "Hi guys, if you could make the Green Lantern movie, who would you use and what plot?"
Now,
Ooh.
let me.
Is this the sequel to? See, that would be my first question. Or are we just wiping the slate clean and starting?
Of course, we're going to start over. And let me address something. As you can see, Phyllis Peterson writes that she just finished watching the Green Lantern movie recently, and she thought it was pretty good. And here's the thing. It was, and it's a strategy I've always disagreed with. It's passable as like a regular movie, but if you are familiar with the mythos and with the characters, it's not going to satisfy you. But as like an action in most cases, I'm not going to sit here and listen. Everything we say when we say like everybody does this or everybody thinks this, obviously it's a generalization, and if you feel differently, that's fine, and you're entitled to your opinion.
Absolutely.
But and while you certainly have to capture the general audience, like my mom, you cannot abandon the built-in audience that you have when you adapt a franchise like that.
I really think that's the problem. Knowing the source material is when you go into a comic book movie or even like a movie based on a book property or based on like a TV property or whatever. Like you really. You're going in at a disadvantage from anybody else because the people that don't know about these characters or things, are watching the movie as a whole. This is what they've presented to you. This is how the character is in the movie. You don't know otherwise. So you can't be like, that's not how the Green Lantern is, because you don't know what the Green Lantern character is from the comic books. Right. And overall, I think that in that aspect, in the movie aspect, I don't think Green Lantern did all that bad. I think it had pacing issues. I think it had kind of a clutter issue. I think that kind of ties in with the pacing, where they tried to get too many characters in. And I think that was part of the problem with trying to cater to the fans as well. They had to have the Green Lantern Corps. They had to have Sinestro. They had to have Parallax. They had to have Hector Hammond.
I can see what you mean. Those are all moves that were made to try to appease the comic fandom, but, it's... Yeah, like you said, it definitely got cluttered and kind of and kind of sticky. It got to be a little bit sticky in the middle.
It got a little sticky.
You have to train whoever you're going to have, obviously, but that long extended sequence on Oa and
that felt a little shoehorned in. I felt like there should be like some synth music with somebody like "Gonna make it to the top." That would have been cool. Yeah. I would have enjoyed. I would have got a chuckle.
So,
can I speak for everyone when I say who should have been casted as Green Lantern?
Well, you could try.
Nathan Fillion.
Yes,
that's the
obviously,
but it's the right answer.
Nathan Fillion.
And he doesn't even like Firefly, you guys. So he's not like just a fanboy sitting here saying cast Nathan Fillion.
No, it would be good.
Seriously,
I've seen him as the Hammer. I've seen a fair amount of.
He's seen it all.
I've seen everything. I've seen it all. No, Nathan Fillion would be a really good idea, and he's a fan favorite. They even made a fan video where all of the fans were like, Nathan Fillion. And if you go beyond the fans, like we were talking like a general audience, people would love Nathan Fillion anyways, because everyone loves Nathan Fillion.
He's got the hero look, he's got the whole package, he's in good shape, got that good strong jaw, and he looks the part. He just does. I mean, not to say that Ryan Reynolds didn't, but
the hammer is my penis.
I will say this, and I hope you're not too offended, but I don't really like Ryan Reynolds. Sorry, Ryan.
The only reason he could be offended is because of Deadpool, but he was such a shit-tacular Deadpool that...
Well, okay, I'd like to clarify. Wolverine Origins, or I'm sorry, X-Men Wolverine Origins, worst title ever.
X-Men, X-Men colon Wolverine colon Origins.
Really?
Yeah.
No, in the first half of the movie, when he's part of the X Factor, or X Force, or
I'll be right back.
X Patriots, or whatever.
What is it? Weapon X?
Weapon X. Yeah. When he's part of the Weapon X group, they get Deadpool down to a T, like Wade Wilson in general. Mm-hmm. Like when he's got the suit, like the red suit and the swords and everything.
He's even got the attitude,
It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I was first watching the movie, I'm like, that's Deadpool. Yeah. You just gave me Deadpool. Like that's great. And then the second half of the movie, they were like, let's just make him the main villain guy, give him all these powers that don't make sense, and blah blah blah. And it was like, what?
Listen.
What are you doing?
Listen, guys.
But Nathan Fillion. Ryan Reynolds was not a good Green Lantern, in my opinion.
What do you think of Mark Strong as Sinestro?
Like in the
movie as it was.
I thought he was pretty good, actually. In the comic books, I always get this kind of Snidely Whiplash kind of feel. I think it's the mustache.
It is.
But he is kind of a villain to be a villain. There's not, in DC, villains are villainous because they want to be villainous for the most part. I think later on they gave them more character, and, even in the Marvel Universe sometimes. But in the Marvel Universe, I think they tried to weave in some story like Doom's mother, her soul is lost to Mephisto, and that's part of the reason why he's a dick. There are different things that create the villains, but in the DC Universe, villains are villains just to be villains. Like, I'm the Riddler, and I'm going to leave riddles for you, Batman, because I have nothing else to do.
I'm supremely bored.
Yeah, I mean, even some of the Batman villains have like sad backstories or whatever, but I feel like Sinestro in general was just I'm a bad guy. I'm gonna be a bad guy. He's kind of like Black Adam. I don't know why Black Adam's a bad guy either.
Brief pause in the Green Lantern discussion. Todd Jake Silvas is entirely correct when he says Rygar.
Oh my god.
Oh, Rygar is like a top notch.
Yeah, he says, I want the days of Rygar back again.
What a soundtrack, too.
Oh my god. I could go on for about Rygar for the rest of this, we're broadcasting here.
I was playing the game on the NES, and that game, like, I need to go online and get an FAQ for that, because I could play that game for days.
It's a blast. And like Trevor said, the BGM for it, background music, is just fantastic. Whoever scored that or did that did an excellent job.
Oh, yeah.
It captured the feel of that game, the setting.
I sit around listening to Underground Cave all the time.
Who made Rygar?
Capcom.
Was it Capcom?
I think.
No.
Maybe.
Well, we're gonna check. You guys keep talking about
Green
Lantern.
I think you're probably right, but I'm not entirely certain.
Okay, so, but on back to Green Lantern. Part of the problem for me about it is that they had this pseudo villain.
It was Tecmo.
Oh, the answer is Tecmo.
It's like, wait, hold on, where is it? I can't even. Oh, yeah, it's up by the title. I can't do it. I can't. Hold on.
Tecmo's a great company too.
Focus.
They have such. They had a lot of like weird and kind of. There was one like Tecmo like Death Trap or something, like where you were like betrayed as like the
Death Trap Dungeon.
No, kinda. But no, you were Tecmo's Trap or Tecmo's I forget. You were like this castellan of this like castle, and then you get betrayed and accused of devil worshipping, and then you basically make a deal with some demon to get revenge on everybody, and he puts you as this like ghostly like Overwatch of this castle, and you can like set up different traps to.
That's not Death Trap Dungeon. That's exactly Death Trap Dungeon. You're describing Death Trap Dungeon.
It could be Death Trap Dungeon. I don't.
Yeah,
think,
it's
that
like
doesn't
3D.
sound right.
It's 3D, right? And you set up like punchy pits, and the knights wander in.
Yeah.
That's Death Trap Dungeon.
Oh, okay. That's Death Trap Dungeon. Okay. I seem to recall having a much shorter name than that, but I seem to also recall that it was called Tecmo's something or whatever. But
yeah,
Tecmo's Revenge.
It was a good game. It was difficult to get the hang of at first. But,
yeah. Okay, we're going on the phone way too big of a tangent here. Green Lantern, no. The big problem for me was the pseudo-villain of Hector Hammond, because he really didn't provide that much menace to Green Lantern in the end. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as he was in a position to really do so, he just ends up getting overshadowed and then thoroughly owned by Parallax.
Trev.
What?
You were totally right.
Holy Christmas!
I was totally wrong. It was called Tecmo's Deception.
Oh, Tecmo's Deception! Invitation to Darkness!
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yes, that's it! You wish you could see what we see.
Exactly. I just got the titles mixed up. That's my bad. It's my bad, guys. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to know this stuff. Tecmo's Deception. That's a sweet game. I really want to get it.
It's an awesome game. But yeah, so I'd like to see, and the other problem is that Parallax, even though he is kind of a cool thing, he's a much bigger villain you have to build up to. You can't just have him show up first thing out of the gate.
Well, Parallax, let's see, Parallax was around.
It's like in the first Superman movie, have Doomsday show up and kill Superman in the first Superman movie.
No,
it's like, where do you go from here now?
Yeah, because in the comic books, Parallax takes over Green Lantern. Green Lantern, as Parallax, destroys Coast City, right? Mm-hmm. And then he goes off into space.
I'm going to quibble. I seem to recall the order of events was that Mongol, in a partnership with Cyborg Superman, showed up and set his engine city down on top of Coast City or whatever.
Just
and totally destroyed it. And then basically Green Lantern was going around like, why doesn't anyone care what happened to Coast City? I want to remake everybody in Coast City with green energy from my ring. And then Superman and other people were like, listen, Green Lantern, you gotta stop this. He's like, you don't know me! And he flies off into space, and he goes and kills all the other Green Lanterns, and he takes all their rings, and he's got his hands full of Green Lantern rings, and he starts going crazy, and I'm Parallax now. And then it turned out that he was, because It was a retroactive continuity thing. That was what they were going with. He just lost his shit and became a villain. And then afterwards, they're like, well, no, he was actually possessed by a green bug of fear, and so now he's actually not a villain. It's okay now. It wasn't his fault, but it was his fault. That's what happened.
Yeah. No, I don't remember a lot of that. But I know that Kyle Rayner showed up at some point and was like, oh, the Corps got destroyed. I'm going to make this terrible costume. I think that's why they have the Green Lantern Corps, is to make sure people like Kyle Rayner don't design their own costume.
Yeah.
Because all the Corps wears the same uniform.
Except him. He's got that, like...
Yeah, he's got that weird, like, black and white, like it's cut down the middle and the sides, so it's sort of different...
Pseudo, I don't know. I can't.
Because he was supposed to be he was a like a designer, like an architectural designer.
Yeah, he was like a.
So all of his constructs were really like
intricate.
They made sense. Like whereas
Hal Jordan just like punching people with giant green. Like Kyle Rayner would make like walls and buildings. That always bothered me about the character. So to finally actually try to answer the question instead of going off on tangents.
Dr. Light.
Dr. Light. He's a great villain. He is not the end-all be-all of their villain mythos, and there's a lot of fun that can have there in pitting him against somebody else who can do light constructing.
Yeah. So Dr. Light, who would play Dr. Light? I don't even know.
Jason Bateman. Just cuz.
I can kind of see that, actually. I know you're joking, but...
I was kidding on the square. Like, I was kidding, but not really. Because, like, there's two genuinely popular takes in DC on how Dr. Light is, where he's the serious and menacing and kind of rapey Dr. Light.
Ooh, yeah.
And then there's, like, the Dr. Light.
Yeah.
And I could see him kind of pulling it halfway. I can't remember who said it. I know that it was something I was reading recently, but like if you have a comedian in a dramatic series, chances are a comedian can do drama, but rarely can you find like a dramatic actor who does comedy real well.
Unless it's like straight man comedy,
right?
Yeah, deadpan comedy.
Yeah,
right. So Jason Bateman has a lot of real good background on comedy, and I haven't seen too many things where he was in a more dramatic serious tone to it.
No.
But whenever there's a hint of it, and I just want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he can kind of pull it off in a neat way.
Well, when you see him on screen, it seems like he has the acting chops to be able to do dramatic, and make it believable, really sell it. But
he's got a really creepy smile when he tries to smile in certain ways.
His face like squints up really weird.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a weird smile. It's not nice to make fun of somebody's smile, but he's got a weird smile.
Yeah.
Miron38 says, "Dudes, where's the mysterious photo?" We had to move some stuff to set up the show. Unfortunately, our mysterious photo cannot be with us. She is in spirit, so. But
it's a big letdown.
I dropped the ball.
You dropped the ball.
You dropped the ball on me.
It's okay.
That's not right.
It's okay. Laura's with us in spirit, as Jake said. I don't think that Laura will ever really be dead.
But seriously, though, we actually made a 8-bit everything for the thing. Actually, I'm gonna pull it up right now. Let me find it here.
I'm sorry, I never watched Twin Peaks.
Oh man!
Wow!
Oh, it's good stuff.
Ooh!
Oh, and Mr. Silvis, not you.
No.
I would just call you Jake.
Well, that's my dad would probably be like, "Don't call me Mister."
My dad's Mr. Silvis.
I'm not a Duck fan. I'm very much, every time one of my drinking buddies drags me out to watch a Duck game, I'm always looking around for the Michigan State or the U of M game or the Lions game. Yeah. So sorry, I just wanted to. I saw that and I wanted to respond. So I didn't want you to think I was ignoring you.
Daniel Radcliffe as Dr. Light. Hey, let him break out of the Harry Potter mold once and for all by playing an extra rapey Dr. Light.
Yikes.
Did you guys watch The Woman in Black?
No, I haven't seen it. Was it good, bad?
It wasn't too bad. It had its moments, and he's Daniel Radcliffe. It's hard not to see him as
Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Just do the thing.
Cast your magic wand.
Whatever.
Expecto Patronum.
Yeah, and get rid of that ghost. But I think he's a good actor, and I think he's got the ability to put in some range if he gets the opportunity. We'll never know until it happens.
I felt that same way. I think when Smallville was out, at the height of Tom. What's his name?
Tom Welling.
At the height of his fame, he did the remake of the Fog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
bad.
that entire
you couldn't tell by the way we said yeah.
That entire movie, I really wanted him to bust out like the Superman eye lasers against the pirate ghosts. Why does anybody remake John Carpenter movies? I don't understand. Like the new thing wasn't terrible, but it was basically the same movie.
There are two important questions here concerning this. The first one you just asked.
Why does anybody remake?
Why is anyone remaking John Carpenter movies? They're working toward I don't know what stage in production, but a remake of Escape from New York. It's probably still just in script phase, but I know that a lot of people are just super determined to make it happen.
Oh my god.
But the second question, and I think is equally important, is what happened to John Carpenter after the 80s?
Apparently...
he did Ghosts of Mars. That was close to the end of the 90s.
Sorry, John Carpenter, but...
well, I'm going to IMDb that, because I'm curious.
Escape from LA was fine. Not as good as Escape from New York.
Go check out his IMDb's.
So you liked LA. A lot of people say they really like New York but didn't like LA.
At first when I was a bit younger than the first time, like the first couple times I saw it, I was like, I don't really like this. But it's actually I watched it not too long ago, maybe about a month ago, and it's good.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies everyone wants to like. No, it's no good. But
if I had a line to John Carpenter, I would ask him, please hook back up with Kurt Russell. Please, 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 please do one more Snake Plissken story.
Well, here's the thing, and it's a movie you guys I think both watched and I haven't. Lockout.
Yeah.
With Guy Pearce.
Oh yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Isn't that basically Escape from Space?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
It's kind of Ooh.
You're gonna use him? He's the best guy we got.
He's gotta save the president's daughter.
Yeah, he's for some reason the president's daughter is visiting some space prison. And
why?
Yeah. Well, why would you say no? I think there's some BS reason why she wasn't supposed to go, but then she was just like headstrong, like I'm gonna go anyways, and. They contrive some reason, they blackmail him or do something, and they're like, you have to go get her now, and so it's basically Escape from New York in space.
Yeah,
Escape from Space.
On its face, it was a really I enjoyed Lockout.
It wasn't bad. It was entertaining. I pretty much, and I hate to sound this way, but I pretty much knew what was going to happen.
Right.
While I
it
was
is a
watching the
predictable movie.
Which
I agree.
That's not to say that predictable movies are bad. It's just
it was a little too predictable at some points. I liked the banter though. I liked that Guy Pearce was. I feel like that maybe that's a character that's kind of lost from the '80s. Is the badass who doesn't care.
Yeah.
where he's just like, I'm just doing my job.
Yeah.
You know, like he goes on the ship and she's like, we gotta save these people, and he's like, no, I came here to save you. That's my job. And you know, and he's also like really sarcastic about it, like quips all the time. I really enjoyed that character.
You're right, Phyllis Peterson. Mom, you're right. Every time I'm looking off camera over this way, I'm looking at Laura's smiling face. So she's always with us.
No, John Carpenter's last movie was Ghost of Mars.
Written by.
Well, no,
you're in
here's
the
the thing.
You're
No,
in the written
wait.
by thing, Jake.
Well, that's
Get
what
out
I'm
of
saying.
there.
No. Hold on. 2001 says written by. The next movies that are closer in time are characters. Earlier film, which means it's a remake. Which is a remake.
Screenplay, characters, screenplay,
remake.
consultant, character, story.
Character.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the last movie that he wrote was Ghost of Mars.
Okay. But Ghost of Mars wasn't very good.
No, it wasn't.
No.
But, like, go back to the IMDb.
I'm going back to the end.
Okay, and go back and scroll down. Let's go through here. Let's see. Ghosts of Mars, Silent Predators,
Teleplay for a TV movie.
characters, Escape from LA.
Characters.
Uh-huh.
He didn't even write Escape from LA. Characters. Blood River is a TV movie. El Diablo is a TV movie.
Go to direct. Go to his directorial credits.
Oh, we're looking at directors?
Yes.
Because he's a writer-director, so pretty much anything that he would have written, yeah, I suppose.
Okay, so The Ward, Masters of Horror, Ghosts of Mars, Vampires. Yeah, John Carpenter's Vampires. Do you remember that steamy loaf?
Billy
Parts
Baldwin
of
as
it-
the bad sidekick.
Parts of it were all right. It was, yeah,
No, Billy
was good.
Baldwin. No. Go home.
No.
Go back to the Baldwin Ranch.
But you guys got to remember that like the '90s were like there were a lot of like goth vampire movies coming out. Like the early '90s were
Sylvis, you apologist. Get
No,
out of here.
I'm just saying. Interview with a Vampire came out, and then like I feel like The Matrix moved us out of vampires being cool.
Can I tell you something?
A lot of the things they had in that movie were like borrowed from vampires.
Everyone acts like vampires being popular is a new thing, but now that you really think about it, at least for me, I think that they have literally been popular every year that I've been alive. like Lost Boys and like
Just
the
not in the forefront,
mid late 80s, comes to mind, and then all the Anne Rice and everything like Dusk Till Dawn, John Carpenter's Vampires, like all that happening in the
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Blade.
Blade was a vampire movie.
They've literally been as popular since I've been alive.
Yeah. So people talk about zombies like, oh, I'm tired of zombies.
Same.
Vampires.
Get tired of vampires.
Zombies and vampires both.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've always liked zombies.
Yeah.
Just because we had the blow up of zombie everything it means that there's a lot more shitty zombie things. Doesn't mean I'm not interested in zombies anymore. Rob Zombie's of Halloween was pretty good. I'm sorry, Nikki, I have to disagree. I did not like that movie.
It was
Rob Zombie has his own vision, and if you like Rob Zombie's vision for how horror movies and how people interact and those kinds of things, then that's fine. The closest movie I got to enjoying of Rob Zombie's was The Devil's Rejects.
Oh, you mean Star Wars?
Yeah. It's Star Wars. If you do not know
it's
this,
Star Wars, actually.
Yeah.
If you think,
I think that's an original theory because I don't think I've ever read that anywhere. I think we came up with that a long time ago when The Devil's Rejects came out. We all sat down and watched it, and I think we all pieced it together that The Devil's Rejects is Star Wars. Because it starts off, they're all holed up in this house, and then the police show up and they have to escape, so they escape. And then they end up like I think there's like a cantina type scene.
It's the they go to like a whorehouse.
Well, no, that's the Bespin. That's the Cloud City scene.
Yeah.
Because the guy who runs the whorehouse is what is his name? He played the clown guy from the character's name or the actor's name. Spaulding, Captain Spaulding.
Oh yeah. I forget what the guy's name is.
Yeah, but he's the proprietor of this whorehouse, and then he turns them into the cops. So it's exactly like Lando, and I think he ends up dying in the shootout and stuff. So then, like he redeems himself at the end. Lando doesn't die, but it's essentially.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's not a beat for beat remake or in Horrorland, but it's
Star Wars. It's Rob Zombie's version of Star Wars.
Here's the thing: to Rob Zombie's credit, he is a somewhat competent filmmaker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, his shots are really good.
Yeah,
writing, cohesion of story, like House of a Thousand Corpses was just.
Okay, so but here's the thing: it was a brave choice to try to remake a movie like Halloween, which is so seminal, which is so classic, and it was like the birthplace of the modern slasher horror flick for most people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I mean, it's one of those untouchable movies, and then for him to say, well.
I'm gonna put
I'm gonna put my thumbprint on this. Brave choice.
Oh yeah, and I liked a lot of his decisions. The only problem is you're pulling. My main problem with it is you're pulling back the curtain. When you had Freddy, when you had Jason, when you had Michael Myers, Leatherface, all those characters, they have kind of glossed over backstories. And they also have supernatural abilities. They're not people, they're monsters. And then, it was an interesting take to take him from childhood to the origins of Michael Myers. But when you reveal the man behind the curtain, when it's just some frustrated kid that got sent to a hospital and stuff, like...
Yeah.
He's not a monster anymore. I mean, obviously, it's the same thing with Jason.
I agree. Like you said, Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, their backstories in the original movies were almost like it had almost kind of like an urban legend kind of feel.
Yeah.
Like everyone's heard this story.
Sort of thing.
Yeah, and it makes it, there's
you
something
assume
about
that the truth's in there. Kind of somewhere.
There's like half truths throughout the story, but you have to kind of take it with a grain of salt.
Right. Like I saw, I remember it wasn't too long ago I saw the original Nightmare on Elm Street, and I remember they did sort of raise the question in that of, did Freddy rape these kids or something when he was
but they let it ride.
It was and then in this one in the remake, they really kind of put that out forward, and then the kids are like, well, maybe Freddy was wrongfully accused, and that's why. And then they even went farther, and he's like, haha, no, I was totally like a little kitty diddler. I deserve what happened to me.
And then it's like, and then it's no longer, there's no mystery behind it then.
Yeah.
Then he totally had deserved it, and then he...
And nothing against Jackie Earle Haley. He did a great job.
Sid Haig was Captain. Thank you, Michael Swanson. But but here's the thing. I think that personally, I'm probably on the wrong side of history as far as not liking the Halloween reboot, because everyone that is into horror movies really liked it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm into horror movies. I'm into a little bit of everything, and there's a fair amount of horror movies that I really like.
I think it's really ironic that so many of the modern remakes and so forth miss the idea that you have to keep the killer kind of concealed more, when it's such an important part of horror movies to not show too much of the monster. Like, it's like literally on like surface level, if I'm telling you how to make a horror movie, it's like, don't show me too much of the monster because it won't be scary. I can fill in blanks in my head with far scarier shit than you'll come up with, because it'll be personally terrifying for me. But then how that translates into like, just giving it all away right in the movie,
Well, it's like not to jump off topic, but the Evil Dead.
That's what we do here, Justin.
Oh yeah, we
just let it ride.
I think we started on Green Lantern at some point.
The Evil Dead remake. The freakiest scene for me was that was the scenes that were dark. You can't really see where the possessed person is at, and they're doing some kind of weird, creepy action, and your mind is just racing. You're like, what are they doing? Are they just going to pop out and like,
where's you never really see. the evil in The Evil Dead is nondescript. Like, it takes people, it animates furniture and, you know, like moose heads, or it turns into twisted rapey trees, or whatever. It's not an entity. It's not one entity. It may be many. It may be one completely evil thing, or whatever. It's whatever your imagination makes it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how horrifying it is, and that's really something that you have to give to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Is you have to give them enough scary rope for them to hang their minds with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well put. Well said. I like that. Okay, well, we're... what time is it?
We got about 12 minutes left.
About 10 minutes, yeah. 10, 12 minutes. All right, yeah.
Oh, my dad asked a question.
Oh, there we go.
We should tackle that. It was the question... Well, here, let's scroll down really quick just to make sure. No. Okay. Yeah, like my dad just said, the Blair Witch Project. Yeah. That was really popular at the time.
It was entirely hanging yourself with the scary rope.
Yeah. Because you didn't know at all. I mean, you look at it now and it's like a bunch of kids arguing in a forest, and it is kind of... But I remember watching that on TV, like in the dark with a buddy, and it was terrifying. You know, they worked it really well.
Yeah.
No, the question was, for our Last Supper, like if we knew we were gonna like die or whatever, and we could have four famous people, not anybody you know, four famous people, or you know, like writers or actors or whatever.
Do they have to be alive? For difficulty's sake?
Yeah, let's say they have to be alive.
Okay.
Let's say they have to be alive. Who would you invite to your Last Supper?
Ooh. Well, right off the top of my head, I know I would... Well, let me see. Neil Gaiman, because I just love to pick his brain and talk about writing and the craft of storytelling. He's not nearly as good of a writer, but he's just such a legend, Stan Lee. God, I want to sit down and have dinner with Stan Lee.
Right.
And you know what the funny thing is? Like, from everything I ever hear about him and see in interviews and people talking about their experiences talking or being with Stan Lee, he would just kind of like not be interested in talking about his whole Marvel. Oh no, that's not interesting. Tell me about your show. That's some real interesting stuff. True believer, and it's like, no, Stan, my show's shit, dude. Like you're the fucking man.
Yeah, you made all that stuff.
Oh, that's just funny books. You're on the internet entertaining the new generation. I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's funny, but that's entirely true. I feel like that's probably what would happen.
It's interesting, like how many. And on a brief tangent, it's interesting how many like people who work with Stan Lee, like back in the day, talk about what a showboater he was and how like he was always like claiming credit for stuff. But now, and maybe it's like a guilt thing. Maybe he used to be that way, and then he realized that wasn't the way to be. But now anybody, he didn't want to talk about what he was doing. He just wanted to talk about me and what I was doing. And it was the most incredible thing. He's so nice.
Yeah.
You know?
It could be entirely. In fact, I know like a few Marvel writers that quit Marvel or got fired, had some bad things to say about Stan Lee, at least back in the day. But within the past 20 or 30 years, I don't think anybody's been like, Stan Lee's a dick.
Yeah,
you'll rarely ever hear that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, those two. I'd say. Ooh, when do you guys come up with a guy that you want to have on?
I wouldn't mind having this is gonna sound weird, is Sean Connery.
Oh no.
It's very just an interesting character. I mean, he's essentially retired from acting, and I'm sure just the kind of stories he could tell, and just the banter that would come back and forth from telling different stories, I think would just be a treat.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Nice. I gotta say, probably one of the people that I would love to meet in my lifetime would have to be Patton Oswalt.
Yeah.
He's really he's funny, and he's made his career doing very similar to what we're doing, but he does stand up, he does jokes, and he's far more witty or clever than I ever claimed to be. But he really does understand a lot of the things about popular culture at its very roots. It's not just on the surface, and I don't think he gives himself enough credit for that. But just hanging out and talking to the guy would be probably a blast. Also, Kevin Smith, for the same reason. Mm-hmm. I don't think Kevin Smith is as articulate, but he knows how to get to a point without using so many words. So.
Clint Eastwood? Have dinner with Clint Eastwood?
Yeah.
My mom says Johnny Depp, Eddie Vedder, Jimmy Page, and me, Trevor.
Disqualified. Sorry. Nobody that you know. Nobody that you know.
It can't be someone you know.
Disqualified.
You got DQ'd.
I just disqualified your mom. What's up?
You son of a bitch.
You know who I think would be an interesting person to talk to, even though I'm not sure how it would go. It could go really well, and it could be really interesting and fun, or it could be really bizarre. Either way, I'm sure you'd have a good time with it, is Prince.
Yeah. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. That would be really weird.
He's really changed over the last 30 years, though. I mean, it's like if I could talk 80s era Prince, absolutely, he'd have some real interesting shit to say. But I don't know.
And for that matter, David Bowie.
I'd be worried that he'd treat me
dismiss you
extra style. No, there is I was thinking when he said Patton Oswalt, I thought for a second David Cross, and I was like, no, he kind of seems like he might just outright dismiss me, I'm not fucking eating dinner with this guy.
No, that's the problem. I feel like David Cross is a really interesting person with interesting ideas. I don't think that I would want to hang out with David Cross. Mm-hmm. Because he definitely has that. And I don't think he's a dick right out to anybody, but I've seen him in interviews, and
he's really smarmy.
There was one in particular where he was talking to it was just a web interview basically for a web show, and it was this pretty young girl that was supposed to be the interviewer, and she's probably just starting out. She had all the questions that he's probably answered a million times, so every time she'd ask some kind of basic question that any star really has to answer, even if it is stupid, he would basically just throw back and be like, I've answered this question a million times, or he would say some flippant answer, and it's she's people too. I mean,
pulling a little bit of Christian Bale.
Yeah. It was kind of embarrassing.
I'd like to maybe set up a real conflicting, argumentative sort of thing, people I feel I'd get in arguments with. I'd like to sit down and have a meeting with George Lucas. Mm-hmm.
That's I was just gonna.
But he has to stay there and talk to you about it.
Yeah, well,
you can't walk away when I ask you an uncomfortable question.
I mean, this is your last supper, so who cares what he's gonna do later on, anyways. Mm-hmm. So I mean, yeah, I'd grill him. I'd grill him so bad.
Wait, what were you thinking? Why did you think that was gonna work?
What happened?
Also great would be to have over for dinner, my last supper, Buzz Aldrin. One of the first fucking men on the moon, man. He's got some fucking stories.
Absolutely.
Wait, is Buzz Aldrin still alive?
Yes,
he is. I'm so confused about who's alive and who's dead. I don't know. That's one. He had
that amazing cameo. He had that amazing cameo on that episode of Third Rock where he basically set up a reality where he sits in his apartment and yells at the moon if it shows up during the daytime. Yeah. What are you doing, moon? You're not supposed to be here.
Wait, I thought you meant Third Rock from the Sun. You mean 30 Rock?
Yes, I meant 30 Rock. Yeah. Obviously, sorry.
It's all good. No, it's.
There's 3 Rock. The 3 Rock thing was kind of why would you do that?
Third Rock.
NBC. Well, yeah, another discussion.
I don't know. Let's see. Michael Swanson says Nolan North, Kevin Smith, or Robin Williams. Yeah.
Nolan North would be pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, definitely. My dad said Stephen Colbert, Todd McFarlane, Sean Connery, and Joss Whedon.
I was gonna ask if he didn't mean Seth MacFarlane, did he?
No. He meant Todd McFarlane. My dad's a huge Bond fan, so he's
awesome.
big into the Image comics.
Awesome.
But that would be interesting. Colbert would be kind of interesting to talk to.
Yeah,
like a real, he's been living behind a persona for almost 10 years.
But you see him in even watching the Colbert Report, when he's interviewing his guest. you see when they're starting to cut to commercial, like you see him lean in and start talking to them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you got to know that he's just, you know.
Oh, that's like a talk show thing that I've always when they cut to commercial wanted
What
to
are they
know
talking
whether
about?
because like Jon Stewart does it on his show, like any talk show really. They'll lean in and be like,
I see Conan doing it all the time. It's like, hey,
I wonder if after a while they were just like, I'm just whispering to you so people think that we're talking about something. Like, I wonder how often that happens.
Yeah.
Nikki Manti, we actually went to the Secret Stash. That's Kevin Smith's comic book store. Trevor and I went to the Secret Stash in L.A., actually. We didn't see anybody there, but we got to check out the store, and I think I bought some comics there. I don't remember which ones. What were you going to say? I cut you off.
That's okay. I lost my train of thought. That's okay.
No, we were talking about
Scratchy throat.
Last Supper?
Stephen Colbert.
Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, we were talking about Stephen Colbert and people leaning in and whispering on the thing.
Yeah, I have to agree, Nikki. It would be interesting to sit down and talk to Bruce Campbell about his experiences. I don't know if you've listened to any of the commentary they've done on some of the special editions of Evil Dead and Army of Darkness and Evil Dead 2, and like just the amount of like punishment that Sam Raimi has put that guy through.
Oh yeah.
Would you rather talk to Sam Raimi or Bruce Campbell if you could only have one, or like have a conversation with one or the other? Because like remember, Sam Raimi made Darkman
And Spider-Man.
Yep.
and Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. For me personally, it would be Bruce.
Yeah, I it's hard to argue with Bruce.
It's so tough because then you have like
Bruce is more like a hero.
Yeah,
like you don't want him to like. You don't want him to let you down, like, and you don't want to let him down. Like I feel like I respect Sam Raimi, but I don't I don't admire him in like the same way. I don't think he's
a competent filmmaker. Like he's probably one of the better filmmakers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I don't think I would be like really let down with however Sam Raimi was. But I feel like if Bruce Campbell wasn't
like,
the coolest guy in the world, yeah. Oh, if Bruce Campbell told me to fuck off, it would crush me.
I might be hurtful.
I'd like do the sad peanut net walk off.
Well, you just I think the biggest thing if you're gonna talk with Bruce is just to don't gush, don't do any, just try not to be a fanboy. When you're
he seems like the kind of guy who does not like the people that are like really. But on the other hand, he like retweets things all the time. Like people are like, I got this Bruce Campbell tattoo, and then he retweets it.
What's that Bruce Campbell Twitter thing he does? Lollygagging?
Lollygagging.
Is that like a Michigan thing?
No,
is that like a Michigan thing?
That's a Michigan thing because people are like, what's lollygagging? It's like, what? Like, we're
all
Michigan, so
exactly.
Lollygagging is hanging out and not doing anything.
Yeah.
Like, no lollygagging.
Like, I remember when I was just getting into Twitter, I'd see, and I followed Bruce Campbell immediately.
Well, specifically, it was like people had their, like, feet up, and they would take a picture of their feet, like, in a setting, and that was the joke about lollygagging, was that they had their feet up, they were relaxing. Wherever they were, it was just their feet were in like the foreground, and then whatever was the background was there. And it's like, is this lollygagging? And that's the whole. Like, if you could probably tweet Bruce Campbell right now if you were like on your couch in front of your TV, like watching Evil Dead, and you took a picture and sent it to him.
Is this lollygagging? And he'd be like, nailed it.
Yeah, he does that. Nailed it.
Totally. In response to your comment, Nikki, yes, Bruce and Sam are both from downstate. When I was working in Mackinac City, one of the guys I worked with, his family was friends with Sam's family, and when they'd have family reunions, they'd be invited over, and he said he's actually met Sam.
Oh wow!
And it's somewhere in the back of my head, like when I was a younger man, you always kind of think, hey, maybe I can sneak in on one.
Yes. Like, hey, you going? Can I
jump in on that?
Yeah. I want to meet that guy.
But I think we've approached our hour here.
Yes, we have pretty firmly.
Thanks again for being on the show.
Thanks, Justin. This guy.
It's my pleasure, gentlemen.
And guys, this is proof that, you know, if you are in the area and you bro down with these two guys and you want to be on the show, you know, maybe you can live the dream too, like Justin's living the dream.
Yeah. We are not averse to guests, but for this recording at least, we may stick around for a couple minutes.
A couple minutes anyway.
Yeah.
But thanks for watching, guys. It's been an excellent. This is week 21. We can get into our cups now.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be probably taking a break next week. Jaco might try to handle this solo style. Maybe bring you that Let's Play we've been talking about. But I'm going to be a happily married man on my honeymoon at that point. So you won't see me next week, but we'll see you the week after that.